Hey, welcome back to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, and trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so you can easily choose the best watch for yourself in the comfort of your own home. We offer the lowest prices anywhere online. If you'd like to know the price, simply click on the links in the description below. We greatly appreciate if you purchase your next watch from us at JazzTime.com. Today we'll be talking about this Rolex Yacht-Master II. This one in white gold, as you can see, so that it could actually double as sort of like an incognito steel watch, but you know this is gold, white gold, because, well, not only its heft and the absolute weight from this, but also the platinum bezel and the fact that you do have the raised numbering rather than the recessed numbering from all the other Yacht-Master IIs, but I'll be going over all of that shortly. The case, the bezel, the dial, the crown functions, as well as the pushers, and the bracelet, and I'll be giving you my thoughts on all of those, including that of the movement throughout this video. So starting off with the case. Oh, by the way, the reference number for this one, 116689. Okay, so the case here, 44 millimeters from finger to thumb. That's the 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock positions, or also the 10 to 4 o'clock positions. You have the same diameter, same distance all the way across, same 44 millimeters. You have the monoblock middle case with the screw down case back and the Rolex winding crown to ensure water resistance down to, I believe it's 100 meters or 330 feet. Now, even though this does have the trip lock waterproofness system to ensure that you do get that full 100 meters or 330 feet below sea level, this is not necessarily a diving watch. This is for when you're actually on your yacht, because, you know, hence the name Yacht-Master II. I'll be going over the functionality for that in a moment, but basically this one does guarantee that full 100 meters of water resistance. So you could actually do a light dive, or rather a shallow dive. It'll be just fine. You have a full high polish for the entire casing here, evident down to the tapering of the lugs, going into the integrated bracelet, all white gold. You can definitely feel it with the absolute weight of this thing in your hands. My arm is actually starting to get tired just from holding this. All right, now sitting on the very front, you have a platinum bezel. Now this one, basically a one-of-a-kind within the Yacht-Master II category, because all of the Yacht-Master IIs have a ceramic bezel that's blue with recessed numbering to, you know, match the coloring of the rest of the watch. Say the yellow gold version has yellow numbering, the steel version has, you know, basically a silver colored numbering, and the rose gold version has, well, you guessed it, the rose gold numbering. But this one has a platinum bezel with the sandblasted platinum look there to really diffuse the light and make it very easy to tell the difference, you know, between the background and the foreground when it comes to the numbering on this bezel. Nice high polish on those platinum numbers, all raised rather than recessed, so you can actually feel the numbering. You don't actually have to, you know, specifically look at it directly on your wrist. That's if the numbering matters to you. And, you know, for those who are serious about their yacht races and, you know, being able to measure the timing on that, it matters. And speaking of which, taking a look here at the functionality for the Yacht-Master II, let's actually reset all of this by pressing the bottom pusher at the 4 o'clock position. So in order to set the Yacht-Master II, the timing functionality here, you actually have up to a 10-minute timer there. Basically, turn your bezel all the way to the left, 90 degrees, unwind your crown, and actually press the bottom pusher in so that it actually stays in. It's stuck there. Now, once you pull the crown out, you can then rotate it clockwise to increase the number of minutes required that you would like to measure. If you are at 10 and you want to go back, well, just continue winding it and you'll go back to 0. So this is the number of minutes that you'd like to time. Let's say we want to go to 10 minutes. All right, now we can actually move our command bezel back to the 0 position, all the way to the right. Basically, it doesn't move any more than that. Then you can start timing, pressing the top button at the 2 o'clock position, and you can actually start that timer, center mounted hand that moves at the same pace as that of the small seconds at the 6 o'clock position, and it will actually gently count down to 10, or from 10 minutes to 0. If you need to stop it, just press the 2 o'clock position and press the bottom 4 o'clock position pusher to reset it and that timer at the 10 o'clock position. So that's basically how this command bezel works in conjunction with the crown and the pushers as well. And if you don't need the, 10-minute timing functionality, you can just simply set it to 0 if you so desire. Just simply do that. And there you go, you have a timer that goes 0 to 60 all the time, without any need to worry about anything counting down. You just have simply a 1-minute timer basically, right? But I digress. Anyway, now onto the dial portion of this video. Basically you have these, well, nothing too new here. It's the Yacht-Master II, sort of that signature dial here. You have the hours laid out with those sort of squared index marks with the slightly elongated 6 and the triangle for the 12, all in 18 karat white gold with the chromolite feature. So if I turn the lights off, you can actually see the glow-in-the-dark capabilities, incredibly bright, and with that blue luminescence from the chromolite feature, it makes it incredibly bright and very easy to read in low light situations. You have a small tip on that minute hand just so that you can actually read it very nicely and easily. Slightly skeletonized, although it doesn't actually really reveal anything underneath it because, well, part of the luminescence is actually covering part of the numbers, but you can actually feel the numbering on the bezel. That's not an issue. All right, turning the lights back on and looking at more of these details here, you do have all of the lettering sort of concentrated at the 12 o'clock side of the dial. You have the Mercedes hands, the Mercedes hand to really, bring it up to that next level, that sort of newer style of the Yacht-Master hands there. Makes it nice and easy to read, sort of in conjunction with the Submariner and GMT models. At the 6 o'clock position, you also have the small seconds. That's just constantly going, 28,800 vibrations per hour or 4 hertz. Nice and precise there. It's there when you need it, but it's not that big of an issue because your main functionality is to do the timing with the large center-mounted red hand for the timing for your yacht races and such. All right, now taking a look here again at the dial, you also have the 10, 9, and basically up to a 10-minute countdown timer, as I mentioned earlier, with a blue outline to basically fit within that Yacht-Master aesthetic. All right, so what makes all of this work? It's on the inside, the caliber 4161, made in-house by Rolex. You can't see it through the case back, but you do have that solid white gold case back for not only that extra added protection, but also that full value. You're getting your money's worth from that extra gold content. You have your plus or minus 2 second per day time differential after casing, giving you the superlative chronometer certification as printed on this and every other Rolex dial. You also have the center hour and minute hands with the small seconds hand at the 6 o'clock, the programmable countdown with the mechanical memory and on-the-fly synchronization, all built in here as I mentioned before. You also have these stop seconds for precise time settings. So when you set the time here, just simply unwind the crown at the 3 o'clock position, pull the crown out, and it actually stops that seconds hand, so you can actually set the time nicely and precisely. Just one little function that I forgot to mention because, well, mainly you're getting this for timing or just looking good, because this is, again, 44 millimeters, the largest, one of the largest watches in Rolex's catalog. So certainly you've got that wrist presence in terms of size. On the oscillator, you also have a paramagnetic blue parachrome hairspring, meaning that you can get relatively close to magnets and circuitry and the like, and it won't make any effect on the movement. It'll be keeping track of time just fine, no problem. On the inside, you also have a center-mounted bidirectional self-winding perpetual rotor, which basically means that you can just wind the watch manually using the winding crown. If you keep your bezel at the main position all the way to the right, you can just wind the watch. About 20 to 30 full winds gets you to the full power reserve. And basically, once you have it nicely wound up, you can screw the crown back in tightly to ensure the water resistance, and putting it on your wrist with the natural movements of your wrist keeps that perpetual rotor spinning in place, which then winds the mainspring barrel, which charges the power reserve up to 72 hours, which is basically 3 whole days. So you can set this down on a Friday evening, pick it back up nice and early Monday morning, no need to wind the watch. Just wear it all day Monday, you're back to full power reserve. And while I'm zoomed out here, you can also see that we do have the Oyster bracelet, all white gold, center links, high polish, with the outer links being a satin brush finish, nice and high polish along their sides. You also have the safety folding clasp here, all again in white gold. So lift from the bottom of the crown to open the safety, lift from the top of the tab to open the clasp itself. You have the full Rolex stamped logo on the inside, recessed, with the hallmarks in there to show you that you are indeed dealing with white gold or precious metals here. And also, if that wasn't enough, you also have a folding oyster lock. Well, not just the oyster lock safety, but within the safety, you also have the Easy Link 5mm comfort extension link. So basically, if you have this sized perfectly to your wrist, nice and snug, you're going to have to pull this out occasionally when your wrist does swell based on your hydration and just, overall temperature levels of your environment. Happens to everyone, imperceptible, but you will certainly feel it on the wrist. This allows you to basically continue to wear the watch on your wrist, no problem, nicely and comfortably. When you no longer need it, just simply fold it back in on itself, press it back into the clasp, and you're good to go. While I'm here, I can also show you how it looks on my wrist, 7 inches in circumference. Again, I showed in the beginning of the video, I'll show it again. All right, so 7 inches on my wrist. Well, with a full set of links, that's quite a large watch on the wrist. For me, well, it's absolutely the largest watch from Rolex, basically. So it's going to overwhelm even the smallest wrists, but it's actually still quite wearable because of the sort of curvature of those lugs. With the way that the integrated bracelet works here, it actually fits quite nicely, even though it sort of overwhelms the wrist. And it's actually not too big, because I can still see a little bit of the bracelet from the 12 and 6 o'clock sides. I prefer to have more, but that would mean sacrificing the case size. And when you're getting something like this, you're getting it for, well, not just the size, but also the functionality. But most people are getting it for the size because, hey, size matters apparently. So taking a look at it again down the wrist, a little bit of space underneath the lugs. As your wrist gets smaller, you will have more space, more breathability. Not that that's an issue, because even if your wrist were larger than mine, say around 8 or even 9 inches, you can still wear this watch nicely throughout the day, because basically Rolex has zero tolerance among their links, meaning that you can continue to wear this without it basically pinching your skin or pulling hairs out, or even causing your wrist to sweat all that much, because it wicks the sweat off very nicely thanks to all the venting from all the spacing among these links. And with the overall weight, feels incredibly heavy, top heavy, when I'm wearing it like this on top of my wrist. On the side of my wrist, of course, it feels like it's going to slip a bit, so you will probably want to get this sized nice and snug to yourself, because you do risk having it sort of slip downward and downward if you keep your wrist on the side. And then looking at the time, well, it's kind of hard to see it. So size it nicely for your wrist, and it actually feels quite nice. The Oyster bracelet vents the wrist very nicely, and you can wear this all day. Feels very nice, and looking at it face on, absolutely beautiful, with the sort of very cohesive look here actually. All basically one color minus the dial there, which sort of actually comes center stage thanks to basically the cohesive elements here. The platinum working with the white gold, sort of basically filling in the one color, that sort of silvery type of toned color there. But with the blue and the red and the white just sort of shining forth from that dial, gives you a very good sense of wrist presence in terms of visuals, the size, wrist presence in terms of the absolute girth and the gigantic nature of this watch, and the weight. You get the wrist presence in all three categories. Absolutely huge, big, and you can feel it on the wrist all day. All right, but that's all I got to say about this. What do you guys think about this watch? Let us know down in the comments below what you think about this Yacht-Master II from Rolex, the reference number 116689. That means it's in a white gold construction, but with a platinum bezel. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like as it helps us out. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when we go live with another video like this one. And as always, if you'd like to purchase this watch or any other watch, visit our store at jazztime.com. Links in the description below, where you can get it for the lowest possible price anywhere online. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.